I think we're live now. It's not time. It's always kind of spins around and then never tells me.
Always does
Hey
that.
guys, I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I got my good friend with me, Heidi Popp. Heidi's a teacher. She's an experiencer. She's a mom, and she's amazing. She teaches kind of like the Waldorf Rudolf Steiner curriculum, and she gave me a bunch of information that we're going to talk about tonight. She's going to share personal insights on navigating deep transitions with her family, going through uncertainty, intuition, vibration, frequency. We're going to get into a flowing conversation on life transitions, trusting intuition, and trusting the big you. I put that in the title: vibration, intuition, and navigating the major life shifts. I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Heidi, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
Thanks, Ron. I'm good. Thank you for having me again. This is a treat. Yeah, you always catch me on these crazy milestones, so this is a good one. Thank you.
You're always such in like a good mood. Like I wish like your frequency rubbed off on me. How do you stay so positive? Like,
holy shit, I have to. The kids are watching me. Like, no. I'm not always. I got my snarky bits. Some will come out tonight. I'm sure of it. But I know that if you are walking a little bit more positive, you see the brighter side of things, then more bounty comes. Like it's all energy, it's all movement. So when I am in my dark, shitty spaces, which I can very much so be, that's when shit happens. It's like you stub your toe, you get a flat. I play with the universe. I'm playing with the energy. So yeah.
I love
it. And honestly, I'm surprised I'm high vibed. I've been like balling all week. My eyes have been swollen. I've been going through a lot this week in good ways and weird ways and unknown ways. And I even had the eye doctor today, and she's like, "You're so dehydrated." My eyes were like a mess, and I'm going blind. So that's fun. So,
were you affected by James Rink as well? I think everybody was.
I've met him. Yes. And I thank you for saying Rinks, because that is the name. I love when it changed and you can tell who knew him when. Yes. It's always hard when somebody pivotal in the communities go. I was watching and, observing him since like Jordan Sather days. I think they had a falling out. Like we're talking old school, end of Max Spears and into all this stuff. And I remember meeting him at the first Journey to Truth, because he had already started his little breakdancing and everything. So when I mean no harm. I mean, absolutely no disrespect. But for a while, I thought it was a joke. And so I didn't know there was a passion. And so when he was doing it, I'm like, he's really into this. I'm like, I get it now. This is your bit. Like, you love it. And he was just like, well, yeah. And I'm like, yes, you need to meet people in person to really have that healthy, authentic energy exchange. And so I was really ready to place him. Yeah. I think it's, unfortunate how it's another huge thing that happens. It just splinters people off. It's like it always puts people on sides and stuff, and it's just like, oh my God, are we there yet? Like, are we still doing this? So
I wish it wasn't like that. I try to interview everybody, and I try to have everybody on, but like to me, like I never got to meet James in person, but I always just say to people, like, I've been covering it a lot because he was kind of like a pillar in the community. And like, he was literally one of the first people, like him and Carrie Cassidy were like two of the people. When I woke up in like 2013, when I first started finding out about all this stuff, that was like who I was like watching. I was watching a lot of the Max Spears stuff and James Casbolt, and like James Rink was one of the first people I came into. And then for me to go like do like 7 podcasts with them, like group shows and all, it was like it was weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to honor him, I guess, as much as.
Of course. Absolutely. Rest in peace, Mr. James. And thank you for all that you've done. And, I want people to be mindful, though, of just assuming like all the health stuff, because, you can see the signs of things with the health, but just to assume, I don't know. Just people have to be mindful of their assumptions, I think.
It's weird. With the health, I think we have to play like a healthy medium between alternative health and then still, I know we don't want to trust. I don't know how you feel about this, because I don't know. But like, I feel like for some stuff we have to trust mainstream medical for, and some stuff we have to trust alternative health for. If we can find a healthy medium, but like, I know the system has kind of let us down over in the past.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
yes.
So it's like hard to, I don't know.
Yes. And we can't wait for some bed, and we can't do any of those things either. You have to take the steps to reverse your body yourself. But when it comes to like serious things like your heart and everything, get on in there and get what you need done. But honestly, all the work I think is done here and here too.
Yeah.
Like, I know stage 4 terminal peeps turn their complete lives around. And that's with dealing with the big P. Like it's possible. And to me, anything's possible, but it's like, are you releasing your power to something else? Or are you truly like doing the work, and it all involves like vibration frequency. Are you like, I love you, my sick little body, let me help you out? Or are you like, oh my God, I'm so sick? And then you're just spell casting all that dark stuff. Like we have to just really watch where we take things. And that's what I mean. He went to the bitter end, like just talking and doing and being, and he kept going and living his life fully. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that you're right. That we can do amazing things. And like, like I was with a girl recently and she was showing me how she could like break apart the clouds. Like she could just like look at the clouds and focus on them and like break them apart,
Sure.
Which is like,
or calling in the ships.
Do anything, right?
Yeah. I was messing with some ships before. I saw someone say Motorhead. Yep, I got some Motorhead design here, but this is Drumhoos. This is my sister's place. Look at the little AT. It's got a theme. This is where we're going to. So yes, it's Motorhead letterhead. So good call.
What's your sister's place? Tell us about it. It sounds cool.
My sister's place is called Drumhoos. Hello. Family's coming in. And it's I've talked with you the last 2 shows about my experience as a teen, like a tween. Do you remember all kind of like the dark shit? When my mom was having stuff happen too, and it was like hijacked wombs and sleep paralysis, all that crazy stuff. We're literally leaving 25 years of Los Angeles and moving back there. I'm getting called home. So I don't know what that's all about, and I'm going to investigate. So there's the woo. But my sister has this cool wine jazz bar there, and this is like, it's Swedish, but the bathroom is notorious for selfie wall. It has ET wallpaper. The area I'm going to is a hotspot, and it's known in Wisconsin as one of the very, very, very huge hotspots that are there, a multi-dimensional kind of all kind of dimensional things. So that's what this is all about. So I wear it all the time now because I don't want to think about what I'm wearing for these things. So I throw on my little podcast outfit.
Yeah. I mean, the Midwest is kind of crazy. It seems like the Midwest is like a one big giant hotspot for a bunch of stuff. Like I hear Arkeem talk about like cloning facilities underground on Iowa and stuff like that, and all kinds of stuff. Like,
I think it's all over, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think it's all over, and sure as hell, I'm in Los Angeles. There's a lot going on over here too. I think there's little bits everywhere. I think it has a lot to do with the ley lines. It has a lot to do with that kind of stuff. But again, are you tuning into it, or are you just like the happy tourist that is completely unaware? So she kind of spoofs it a little bit. My sister hasn't had any experience yet that she knows of, or remembers. But when I went there this summer, I realized I have a couple of distant relatives that have. And distant, but now they'll be close. Like my dad's cousin, we're talking in the 70s, and all up there, the same spot. So, so I got some backup now.
That's cool.
Some more people. Cool.
So we were going to talk about tonight about like trusting the big you. Did you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I do, because honestly, it's more, I guess it's my projection. It's me to reflect for myself, to remind myself, because this whole week, as of like yesterday, everything's been spinning for us here. And we literally, you will spin out of control when change happens in your life. But if you're not trusting, if you're not taking that step and trusting the net will appear, you'll go absolutely batshit crazy. So we have been literally walking through the unknown doors for several months. And, it really came to a head this week. That's with, I did leave my classroom yesterday because we're doing this big move. And it wasn't like it was sudden. We just started kind of manifesting it this summer. And we had to trust that everything was going to line up in the timing it was supposed to line up. And so as soon as it lined up for us, like someone wanted to buy the house, it was like, no, not yet. Everything was like, wait, what about this? What about this? And then you have to sit and go, wait a minute, a while ago, I put out there, well, as long as we can get through to the holidays so my daughter can have a recital, as long as we can get 1 through full semester with my kids, I put the stipulations out there, and it's here. Right when I said I wanted it to be months ago. And now that it's here, I'm like, no. And then I'm like, well, you can't do that because I did ask for it. So I'm kind of surrendering to these doors that are now opening for us where it's completely unknown. Don't know how we're going to get there. Don't know how in the hell we're going to, even just afford the move over there. But it's happening. And so with the kids, the hubby and I and the dog, we're just like one foot in front of the other, slowly like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? And that's kind of tripping us out. It really started last spring when we've been spiraling. Los Angeles. I mean, I've been here 25 years. I always said I would die on the Los Angeles sword. Like, I love the terrain. I was in the heart of LA. Now I'm still in LA, but the outskirts. So it's very nature and everything. The neighborhoods are kind of like Truman Show though. So it's a little creeped out, but it's safe and it's great for kids. But anyway, this, the freaking governor, the mayor, like everything we have going on, we are the minority now, and we cannot get ahead. Even with like 7 months of no work, can't get food stamps. Like, you can't. The property taxes are bullshit for what you actually own. The taxes on it are like, you might as well own part of the Getty or something. Like, it's impossible to have the lifestyle you want to have, which is not opulent. I'm a coupon girl. Like, there's nothing opulent about anyone in our family. We are not excessive or anything, but to stress every month like this, it's like, really? Like, I forget about the education and medical system. Like, I traversed that 15 years ago. We created the new, but I'm not worried about, you and your curriculum, California, we do our own thing. Like, I don't worry about that stuff, but our actual livelihood in our home and watching my husband stress out and like things like that, even the industry we love so much, everything is shifting in motion picture too. So it was like this, what are we doing? Are we just going to like stress every month, or are we going to take a leap? So this summer we were fortunate enough to go to, Europe. I think I just saw Matthew. I have to bring up Matthew's thing in a second. We went to Europe and to visit like my mother-in-law for the first time and visit family. And we were fortunate to save for this trip for years. And that's when the ball started rolling. Like, we realized as a family unit, wherever we go, we're okay. Like, we have each other. That's all you need. You don't need the stuff. And then we went to Poland. We went to Wales. We're like, what if, talking about these things. And then when we land, even my kids are like, I don't want to be back. You're landing in the circuit board and everything starts like tightening up and you feel it. We landed to an evacuation from a fire in our neighborhood. It was just like, we're going, what are we doing? So we're like, what if? So then we ended up in Wisconsin at my sister's wedding, one of my hometowns. And I'm from Chicago, but I summered up there when my dad's was born. That's the hotspot place. And we actually started talking about it. We went to an open house. We like put in motion what we envisioned. We started formulating how we did want to live. I'm going to keep cutting coupons. I'm going to tell you that much, but to not have the stress and everything, we just like, this is possible. And so that's when we had to make some serious decisions. So calling it back to, I have to share about this with Matthew because I don't think he knew, but I'm in this Patreon group, and in the summer I got a reading. And at that time, there's another fun little tidbit here. All of this was circulating. Should we move? Should we stay? Like, should we just chance it for the industry to come back? Should we just try? But it was spring break where we were tanking, and I'm like, I got to do something. And I'm like give me a quick fix. I used to be that girl too. But I was trying to apply for game. I was like, I'm going to go on a game show. Like, I'm just going to get some money quick. But I found this thing on Netflix. It's Willy Wonka's Golden Ticket. And I applied. I just sent a minute video. And 2 months later, when we were in Poland, I got the call of like, oh, we want to talk to you. And then that went to the next call and the next call. And and I got my husband involved because you live in the chocolate factory for a couple of weeks and you could win millions, like Mr. Beast kind of money or Squid Game kind of money. And I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, we're going to be able to keep the house. We can even get something in Wisconsin too. Like, we got this. Like, I did it. I put it out there and here we are. And my husband was on board. We had to get my sister on board because you needed 2 people. Casting process. And I do this reading and I'm on the table, like putting out there, just, what do you think, Matthew? And he pulls this Wheel of Fortune card. And it's like, it was all about go for it, jump, he even said the word, I think, game show or something. It was all like, but we were not in control of the game show. This is the thing. We're not in control of someone else giving us millions of dollars. Like, it was a chance, it was an opportunity that might have happened. But But what he did was he unlocked this thing in me and like, okay, what are we in control of to make a chance and do something? We could sell our house and go for it. And it was like things just started lining up. So yeah, as of yesterday, we're in escrow. And like I have 3-4 weeks to pack the rest of the house, and we're going to Wisconsin in January, of all things. People in Wisconsin leave to go to like California, Florida, and I'm actually going there.
Oh, trust me, I'm in Pittsburgh, and it's like right now it says it's 24, but it's a lot colder with the wind chill, I'm sure you know about wind chill. You're from the
Oh my
Midwest.
gosh. Well, the Blizzard 99 in Chicago, I'm walking the lakefront going to work, like the only place that was open. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And by like half a year later, I'm in California, in my first apartment. So I make shit like I do jobs that I I bring it towards me, I put it out there, and it's the net appears for a lot of things. And I was raised that way. I was raised to follow your bliss, trust yourself. And it's when you don't, and when you doubt, and when you live in fear that, you get all these roadblocks and sicknesses and things. So being a teacher, I knew I was only going to have this first semester with them. Yeah, there was Steiner. We did ancient civilization. We did some stuff. We're doing our things, our eurythmy and stuff. But then I'm like, all right, this is a meditation walk. This is the new qigong move of the day. Like this is the breath work. I'm still doing my scalar, Matthew. I wanted them to be the best human self, so that they're not afraid of the unknown, because they were all very scared for me to leave the class. And I'm like, you got this. So our last day wasn't all tears. It was me behind the scenes crying, but I walked the campus with them. We went to the animals, because there's farm animals right there. And it's like, do you remember that time? We reminisced. And then you could just see them getting stronger and stronger. And by the end of the day, it was just like, we got this. And like, video call me, we got this. And then I leave and weep. And I'm like, okay, the era is over. And I don't know what next is, but I know where I'm going. They have nothing like where I was teaching. And so I might have to create the new again. And this time I definitely know what not to do, because there was a lot of things that went on there that I was not happy with. So this is now going to be in, something I can develop with my sister, while also working in her little hippie place. So I literally taught these children, it's your perspective. You either look at the unknown and get freaked the fuck out. Well, I don't tell them that part, but I say you get scared, or you look at it and go, oh, how exciting. I get to try being human in this new experience. And that's one choice. And then I left the class doing the Eightfold Path. Like we did the story of Siddhartha, and just the Eightfold Path, like it's like a wheel, and you're in the middle, and you always have a choice. You have a choice what to think, how to respond, how to act, making even the effort. And Steiner, it's all about the will. And so I'm like, this semester I did a beautiful, my own curriculum there. And I'm doing it myself. Like I'm teaching them, but I'm really teaching myself, reminding myself through our family's most difficult time ever. So I'm like unpacking from my classroom reminding myself, okay, you have every opportunity as a choice. Like, how am I going to react here? And that's why I pop on with you. And I should show you my ring lights busted. I got a lamp with aluminum foil. I'm like, effort, will make this work. Like I'm going to do this podcast, and not because it's dark out. Like it's all how you are humaning, and you're the only one in charge of it. So yeah, I can cut to the snarky stuff soon, but I really get exhausted when I see people look outside themselves a lot. Thanks, Matthew. Yoo-hoo. Yeah, we were sitting there, going like, Willy Wonka, oh, we didn't get the golden ticket. And I'm like, oh, the car. And then I'm like, wait, that's somebody else giving us money. And then they're going to control our narrative. It's Netflix. They're going to control our whole story. That's editors and everything. Now we're in control. And if I do things right, we're going to be comfortable. I don't need millions. I just need us to not freak the F out every month if everything's paid on time. And so we're jumping, and it's a big jump.
I think with your attitude, Heidi, you always had the best attitude. I think like it's like Matthew said, you can do that. I think you will do it. I think you'll be successful no matter what you do.
Thank you.
Like I really do. Like, and honestly, like it's weird. Like life always kind of presents us with changes, and it's like, well, what do you do? It's like it's like yeah. Where I was going with that? Yeah. So well, let me look at my questions here.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you were able to like kind of manifest like, or are you did you want to manifest like what you're doing now, and like yeah.
I never thought I'd leave California. I'll say that much. I am a sun person and I love like dipping out, and within 20 minutes I'm hugging a tree or I'm on the beach or I'm in the city. I love that. And this is where I took my solo journey. My mid-20s, I that's where I made my big leap by myself. So I never dreamt of it except when we were there and I saw that my kids were ready, because I'm like, I have to protect them. They can't go, they can't move yet. And I saw my husband excited, and I realized I'm part of a pack now. It's not just me anymore. I have a tribe, my own little pack, and it's not just about me anymore. And so I'm like, oh, but how interesting. I'm going back to this crazy little ET hotspot of mine, my dad's birthplace, and with my family in tow, with a whole new set of beliefs and mindset. And, I'm going towards family too. So I'll be around family for the first time in a long time. They come out to visit me for the sunshine once in a while, but honestly, I've been on my own for a long time. So I'm like, I did leave for a reason. Am I ready for this? So I didn't manifest leaving Cali, but I manifested change. I manifested our comfort. And so when we were there, we even went to an open house, and my kids were like, this is what we can get for our money. I'm like, yeah, compared to LA, look at this. And they're like, oh yeah, if we do something like this, I'm in. And I was just like, something went off like, okay, it's safe to go. Like, let's go. And I'm going to have to like pull up my bootstraps and do it. Now I told them last night, my eyes were swollen shut. I'm like, this is going to be hard. Like, you got to stock me up on gummies for Christmas, man, because I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to do it one little step at a time, but be patient with me. And I asked my hubby for grace, and he's like, just do your thing. So I once in a while, I'll probably have to get in a little ball, but I'm starting to get excited. Like, I'm starting to be like, oh yeah, I did ask for this. I just didn't know how. Like when my mom, when I did 15 years behind the camera, or no, in front of the camera, doing all this, the work I was doing. I loved motion picture, but then I had this, I was struggling, and I was a dime a dozen, and I had this opportunity to go behind the camera. Like my first craft service boss or whatever was Rob Schneider, and it was this guaranteed like picture deal of being a crew, union crew girl, guaranteed like 25,000 or something that would take me a few months, or a what if commercial callback. And so I'm like, Mom, what do I do? And she goes, you said you'd work in Hollywood all the time, or you'd live in California one day. You just didn't say how. So you got to trust. And so I'm like, so I jumped, and I had the best freaking time. I had more fun behind the camera than I did in front of the camera. So this is that same thing. I want change for my family. But we can't leave California because I just want to go to the trees. But trees are everywhere. Like, I just have to find my footing elsewhere. Yeah. Did that answer?
Yeah. I remember you were doing like you were doing stuff behind the camera, and you were doing like craft services, or not craft service, but you were like doing like service, like you were making like your own like organic, like healthy food for the people, and you were like teaching people like about like different
chemtrails and everything. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I did it like this. I was like, I eventually had directors and people that I only worked for these same group of people because I call it the high vibe popisms and my high vibrational snackages and all that. And I did have a team of people that I called the meow meows, and I did have success. I had big clients, Daytime Emmys, American Music Awards. I did all my check boxes. That's why my YouTube channel is like, been there, done that. What's next? Like, I'm going to keep evolving. That's why you'll see these random podcast series start and then maybe they stop. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to evolve because I'm learning something new about myself every day at 51 still. So I can't just pigeonhole myself, but I do know that I'm the creator being, and that I am the one navigating everything. I can play the victim and have that as my story, or I can be creative. So it's kind of, it's cool. And that's what led me to poo-pooing a little bit of the disclosure communities and authenticity I see. Cause there's being a follower, and there's being a leader, and then there's just being, and you have to navigate all that and be careful how much you invest. I should say.
Yeah. There's a lot of crazy shit going on right now in the community.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
And
I almost wish like everybody could get along, but I don't think that's possible.
You can't when there's a lot of fakes and frauds and people who get their little Patreon groups to target people and make them bleed. Like, you can't. Just like, there are people out there that get high on the hits and the likes and the attention. And, I just like, it's what turned into like, oh, let me be included, is now like, I'm just watching, minding my own damn business. I'm just watching. And, yeah, I'm paying attention to the regurgitated talking heads. I'm paying attention to how the new people come in, and then I really pay attention to who's not being heard. And then it's fascinating. And this is from old school, like Conscious Life Expo started in like 2020 or 2001 or 2 or 3 or something like that. And you can still see kind of same talking heads. And you're like, huh, how's that possible? If all the things they were saying, they'd be taken out by now. Or, I got involved with some talking heads, one in particular who kept hijacking my story and making it her own. Like, even where I'm going, it turned out to start being her story. And thinking the nice, positive lady, letting it go. And then you're like, no, stop squashing me. Like, no, this is my story. Or putting boundaries. Then you put the boundaries up and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to have to sever this tie. Going to sever this tie. But it's also dangerous. I was just gonna say, it's also dangerous. It's a very dangerous community. It's dangerous with how people manipulate the things they learn, of how, like I was saying before, the remote viewing and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who say one thing, do the other, or they use this ancient tech and these tools and everything for nefarious purposes, and it's fucked up.
That is. I would say that there's a lot of black magic going around in the community.
Yes. Yes.
Because people are learning how to manipulate energy, and they're not using it for the best purposes.
Yep. So that's why I get a little sunshiny sweet sometimes, because sometimes that's my only ammo. I have to repel this. Not that I am anybody that anybody even uses as a target, because I'm pretty much keeping under the radar in many ways. But it's more like, but I am a mom, and I'm a mama bear, and I have to protect my little packed. But yeah, I've watched it be used. I've watched people on your show get used. Like, I'm watching stuff where I'm like, and how dare if somebody calls it out, then you become the next target. So it can be, and that's not all of it, that's not the whole thing. There's so many beautiful things. And especially why I've always thanked you for your show, because you bring a little bit of everybody, you truly bring everybody to give them a voice. And that's community. That's the disclosure. Give everybody a voice, and then filter in or out what the hell you want. Put away the rest. You don't have to target it. Make it your viewing topic of the day.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. And what I was going to ask you is, like, going back to where you're moving back to the place where you originally had your ET experiences, or whatever happened. Like, how does that feel? And do you feel like things will pick up for you, or do you think your kids might be contactees as well, or like, what do you think's going on with all that?
That's what again, if I stepped too hard into the fear bit of it all, I will bring all that in. But so when we went there this summer, I just laid the groundwork of like, let's see what happens. I didn't do all the, I have to put this thing over them at night and protect them and call it out. It was just like, no, let's just see. And I realized, perhaps it was I'm not going to excuse anything that ever happened to me or my mom, but it's nothing that I can fear from this place. It means, yes, there's activity and I must be some sort of conduit or something. So now being stronger, now knowing all the things I do know, now not only having the book communion in my back of my mind, but having since then, like 40 years life experience and stuff, I'm excited to play with it a little bit and keep it at bay. Just like a medium can like let things in, let things block it out. You have to know your little crafts, and you have to know what you're working with, and you don't have to fuck around with it. Like, it's like, I know, like, even my sister's house, she's got a really, really cool house at the water's edge and down in the basement. I don't like going down there, but I try like clearing things, or just, trying to mess with it, see if I could play with it a little bit, but then I'm like, never mind, see you later. And make sure I'm taken care of. But there's this closed up entranceway, and they say it was like one of the exits, like for the railroad underground thing. Like, it was an escape. So I feel a lot of good stuff there, but I don't know if it's energy I want to play with yet. But I just know it's active there. The stuff underwater, like Michigan, crazy. The notorious, all the lighthouses. We have so many stories with the lighthouses, and energies you feel. So now I'm like, now let me see, not stupidly go in there, but let me find my community and let's play with it if I want. My kids have learned the tools that they need to learn, but they also are very strong-willed kids with their own set of circumstances. I know we have a lot of guardian angels on our side, and it's like, I'm not scared. Let me just narrow it down and say that. I'm not scared. And if I were, then the big U, we wouldn't be going back there. So we're kind of going back for a reason. And the only few times I've been back there since I was a child, not only has it been super positive, but nothing has gone bump in the night. It almost is like, was something beautiful happening at that time, and I was just too scared of it. Like it, because like I said, we're getting called back for a reason. So maybe this is just a chance to make peace with it all. Yeah. So we'll see. I'll stay tuned. That'll probably be a whole new series I'll do.
It's a hotspot too, right? Like you said, it's like a UFO hotspot.
Yes, this particular town, gosh blessed, let me see if I can figure out the name. Maybe some in the chat. So it's Sturgeon Bay. Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin is one of the towns. And back in the 50s, there was this huge craft sighted. Like the whole town saw it. So when they're calling it in, they were like, oh my God, I guess a government agency maybe came in. They started this. There's an acronym for it. Oh gosh, I don't know. Where's Blazer? Oh, Aaron, you're there. Aaron's here. He's from Sturgeon. He's from there. Aaron, what's the name of that group, that organization that was there in the 50s, 60s that started in Sturgeon and then they moved to Arizona, to Sedona in I think the 90s or something. He'll say, oh, that was such good timing. So he's of Truth Quest. Aaron Moriarty of Truth Quest. He's from there. He's had contact up there and experience up there. Saw a ship. Anyway, so someone might say, but anyway, so it's known for that. There's also crazy mounds nearby. There's in Wisconsin itself, we're going to this thumb. So we're going to be surrounded by water. There's Elmwood, which is notorious for contact. There's a town, I wish I knew the name, that has parades every year to bring all the people in that have experience there. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. And I'm like, of all the United States, should we really do that? And honestly, this is when my little 3D reality is coming in. It's like 25 years later. Yeah. I'm going back to some family. Like it would be really cool for my sister to go to my kids' events. Like she's been here only twice in the 25 years I've been here. And because she's busy, like she's making strides out there. She's very positive as well. So I'm like, I want my kids around my family too. My mom, she just had surgery this week. So that's another thing that was on like everything all at once. And I got tested with that one because I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom's having surgery. And she basically shattered her shoulder. She's very fit. She just tripped on a dog bed. Like she was hiking in the Alps last year at this time, and now she shattered her shoulder. But I'm like, she's going to make through this. But I'm also like, I'm getting tested. Where is my attention going to pull? And I'm like, I had to focus on the kids. So I said a lot of things at once. I forgot what you even asked. Did he say what it was? Not yet.
I just asked what it was like a hotspot. It just sounds like
That's him, Hot Games and Puzzles. I was just trying to figure out, and someone else knew, and I was on another show what it was, but I didn't even write it down. But yeah, that's some acronym, some organization, and they came to study. They came to study the phenomenon.
Is it Nightcap? Nightcap? Was it Nightcap by any chance?
Was that it? And then they left. They're in Sedona now. They're still around. It's so maybe, I don't know if Aaron, if you're still there, I'll text you later about it. But meaning that this tiny little fishing town, which is a marine town, it's a tourist town. There isn't even like Starbucks or McDonald's. It's like all mom and pops, which I'm excited about too. They built the World War II ships, because you're right in Lake Michigan, but there's waterways that take you out to the oceans and stuff. So there's a lot of sunken ships. There's a lot of just a lot of paranormal activity. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be still teaching because they don't have anything like I do over there. But I still gonna have one foot in paranormal always.
I went to Iowa this summer for a little bit or a couple of days, and I was surprised that I'm from Pennsylvania where it's really rural here. But on my way into Iowa, the amount of cornfields was just like, holy shit! It reminded me of that movie Children of the Corn from when we were kids. You remember that movie? I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. It's like, when they say you're literally out in the middle, it's like it's
You're in
like
Bufu.
cornfields upon corn. I was crazy.
Yeah,
You know?
it's Bufu right there. I'm grateful that we are in this little peninsula. We're about 45 minutes north of Green Bay, so you can go to major metropolitan if you want. But yeah, my sister did spend time in Madison. That went a little too extreme radical, she said. But
That's
it's
where I
nice.
was supposed to go. I was
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to. I ended up
I
in
was.
Biddendorf, Iowa. Like it was like,
Oh, okay.
which is weird. But Arkeem said there's like some kind of cloning facility under there. But then that's what I was saying about the Midwest. And then he said there's like Appleton, where we know that's like the whole set of Stranger Things. It seems like. I mean, what went
One of
on
them.
there? You know?
Yeah, they're all over. Yeah, the Appleton's they have some fun festivals. Been to Appleton a few times. And he's the one who taught me about that because the locals, they haven't talked as much about Appleton as they have the other cities there. But yeah, I'll go check it out and see what it feels like. Like I get to go play now and see with this my now body, my now moment, and see what happens. But I don't feel like even my mom who had all that crazy shit happen to her, loss of time, hijacked womb, all these things, she gets her most peace up there. She feels at her best up there. And then all her children were conceived there. That's me and my sister, my brother. Like, so there is something there about that area for my family. And I don't like to just pitch a story and stick to that story. I'm not that. I love storytelling for education, but I'm not going to like just say, just only spend time sharing one story about it, because even my perspective of my human experience story changes. You know what I mean? Because I find some people kind of just stick to their one little story, and that's what they got, and they still are main stage speakers. It's crazy.
I agree with you 100%. And I just wanted to share this comment from Iron Barry. He says, Rob, I'm from Iowa, and Iowa, you can see parts of the Milky Way in the sky. Yeah, I wanted to say their water seemed really good too. It seemed like it wasn't as polluted. The water was like, I like the Midwest. It's really nice there. It seems like,
yeah. You know what it is? When I first moved to LA, that was the hardest thing I had to adjust to. Was not only that it was a lot of sun, because I'm like, where's my goddamn rainy day? I just want to like hide, but it was sunny all the time, but which I loved. But it was the people, the coldness, and you realize, it's the land of Los Angeles, and a lot of ego, but a lot of people, insecure people. So just walking, and I remember walking a street, and you see someone way down there, so you're going to pass. So it's typical Midwest. Hey, how you doing? Have a good one. Or you just say something, and they're like looking like they can't look at you. And I just remember thinking like, how rude. And then I'm like, oh, I'm a Midwesterner. We actually have niceties with people. They don't do that a lot here.
In Pittsburgh. People are real, like, something. It's like a mix. Yeah, like. Well, I'm going to ask you, what do you think's going on with the film industry? Like, I mean, because I know Jason's in the chat. Jason worked for the film industry part-time. He was like a director, I think, and but it seems like it's harder to find jobs in the film industry. Like, or is that? Or what do you think? Do you think it's because of Netflix and like Amazon Prime, or do you think it's because of like podcasts, or all the above, or what do you?
There's so many bits to that. So my first bit is because when I was behind the scene, it was a lot of commercial. I had a lot of commercial gigs I did, and I know commercially, the budgets are the talent. And so they are just looking for streamers, really, who has the following, because it's their budgets went from 5 million to 1 million to like 100,000, because if they get a good streamer, they can advertise to the world for nothing. And so that shifted everything. The budgets shifted. The workforce, the taxes here, that's why the industry here shifted, but supposedly it's coming back. Whatever. So the streaming has a lot to do with. I saw that when it came in. My first round of losing everything was 2007. I was about to get a brick and mortar and do my high vibe snackages out of like in North Hollywood on Lancashire, my favorite little area. And I was so close. And then the strike happened. So I'm like, I better hold on to my savings. And then it was wiped for that whole year. That was the first buzz about there's going to be an alternative way of viewing. And so there was a writer's strike and an actor's strike, but there was talks of, it wasn't just contracts. It was like this buzz of this shift of the industry. And then, so streamers and influencers affect streaming services. And because of all these merges of the old studio companies. And then, cause you'll find like foo-foo fancy A-listers, doing a little car commercial or doing commercials because they have contracts they have to fill. So then it pushes everybody out. So it's like the gigs, the jobs there that there aren't so plentiful anymore. They go all around the world. They outsource even the jobs, not just the crew, but the talent. But if they have it streaming, it goes further. And so they can do everything cheaper. So it just kind of bumps it all down. I mean, that's just part of it. And the way people watch things, they just don't go to the movies anymore. They stream CGI, AI. I've been just watching it sink. 2020 is when I walked away, but that was because of what was happening in the world. And I was not someone to comply. And so that's when I changed into, well, let me just figure out something with the kids and I started teaching. But I kept getting asked back. And I'm like, you can't ask me back because I smile and I hug. So you're not going to let me go on set. And I don't do things like I don't want to do. So when I saw everybody comply and go back and then the work go away, you could see them be like, holy shit, I did all that. And it's still, the work is little. So what's happening now is there's a lot of stuff greenlit, like even that was one of our chancing it. My husband on hold, Baywatch is coming back, all these old school stuff's coming back and they're greenlit. However, because the pool there's so many people out of work and so few jobs still, they go for the veterans. They go for the guys who've been working forever. They go at the top. They don't get the newbies in there quicker. So people are still, losing more work. There's not enough work for as many crew that's out there. But they more than that, they capitalize on the influencers and the streamers, and things are just so messy in that sense. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's because they're burning down Hollywood from the back of, underneath it or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but Dan Schneider's still working. So there's a problem. There's some people out there that you're like, they're not necessarily taking Hollywood down. It's just been restructuring. So I know, and then they put all this money into, I did a job once that it was all hologram, and that was like 2017 or something. And it was like, and then all of a sudden, knowing what I know in these communities, you're like, oh, they're just making more profit. This celeb that I worked with, it happens to be in Japan, but nope, they just saw him at the Grove. Oh, it's a hologram. So you see that they're using this tech now. They're working with just tech guys, not like good old fashioned grips and lights and the old Hollywood ways. They're doing everything. They have smaller crews to make bigger budget movies, whereas they used to take 100 plus crew to make a commercial or something. Now it takes like 20 because they're doing it on a computer or something. So it's really just like, it's hard to keep up with it, but it's also like we might be seeing the end of an era in the industry. And that's hard. That's why I came here. I came here for that. I worked on my first studio lot, and it was old Hollywood, Sunset Hour Studios, a lot of ghosts there. And it was like you got the buzz. But when I was part of the crew life when film went away and digital came in, and we had a funeral on set. Like it was mourning because you just got rid of a whole department. Changing the tape and, a lot of equipment and all that kind of stuff and the way you do things. So it's constantly evolving and adapting, and it's very tech now. It's just tech, drones. And, that's my husband does the camera cranes, does a lot of music videos and things, but they use a lot of drones too. So it just starts, the human is starting to get smaller. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. It also seems like there's like massive amounts of different streaming platforms from like Amazon to Paramount to Netflix to like now I got a laptop and I got Apple TV. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to see Severance because everybody's talking about like,
I know. I want to see that too, but I don't have it yet. I just bought all of White Lotus because I'm like, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get HBO, but I want to see it. Also, just bought all the White Lotus ones and I binged them over Thanksgiving. It's really good. But I'm like Peacock and this and that. It's the first time. I liked it. I like good writing. I love when there's like ensembles. I loved those kind of movies. I love when there's a little like cameos from so many people. So I thought it was well done. It's one of those that starts off like you're like, what the hell is this? And then it ends up and you're like, how'd they do that? Very Hitchcocky in that sense. Like it ends up and you're like, wow. So the callbacks are great. And I like Mike White. He's the one who does it. He's a funky dude.
I got to show you something because you're in movies. Wait, let me see if I can find it quick. Like I got my friend Jason sent it to me the other day. I got to show you this. So yeah. I got to get your opinion on it. Where is it? Oh, I'm fumbling through my phone now because I'm looking for it. And Jason knows what I'm about to show you. What I'm about to show you is the picture for the Spielberg movie Disclosure, which is coming. Like if they say, look, okay, let me see if I can make it big on my phone. So on the side of the building, it says all will be disclosed. And then it says all will be disclosed, and it says Spielberg 6/12/26. So The numbers are weird. And then look at the bird with the upside down inverted
upside
eye.
down.
And it says Spielberg.
It's
That's for Spielberg's. I guess that's somewhere in your neck. I think that's somewhere in LA.
Probably
They're
downtown.
advertising that. And that's for Spielberg's new disclosure movie. It's going to be all about disclosure, which is crazy.
It is. But I see his name attached, and then I'm like, I follow the money. I sometimes just go like, well, who's kingpin of this?
He's a Satanist and a pedo and stuff like that. That's why I wanted to get your opinion. Like, what do you think from a perspective of someone who's been in Hollywood? Like,
well, that's one of those you check the tires for after I do those shows. But so being on both sides of it, there are like, I was rolling with the A-listers for a while. Like I have stories where I was sitting at Thanksgiving across from, I can't remember his name now. Deadpool. Why isn't it? I can't remember his name. Alanis Morissette and her boyfriend, Ryan Reynolds, and stayed that night with them. I was in her house. She was my buddy, and I went on tour with her on her bus. Like I had these encounters where you don't see shit, and you're like, she's an international superstar, and everyone's like, oh, this happened to her. I'm like, but it was months, and I'm like, no. So I countered a lot of narratives, but with the kids stuff, like, oh, heaven help me with not remembering the names. The gal O'Rourke, was it Heather O'Rourke? What happened to her? All these kinds of things. You're like, why aren't these children protected? But then I work on kids' jobs, and you realize because the parents sold them. Like they're either sold or the parent is there and they're working the business. Like Alanis is a good business person. Like I just feel like you have your business team of sovereign civilians of free will that are working the business, and then people see you and they can't get to you in that nefarious way, but they still work with you because you're worth gazillions. Then you get that one that's either sold in, or you get somebody and you're like, we're just like the ones you see, all the symbolism, a lot of the child actor, all that kind of stuff, that there's a flip that happens and they're controlled. And then but they're both going on simultaneously in the business. So it's not all bad. It's not all good, but it's a gazillion-dollar business. It's going to be controlled. And they can't control it all, though, because if someone comes in as a hit, they're going to try. They're going to try to get in there. Now, unless they clonk them over the head and go clone them and put someone else in, but a lot of them will either comply or they'll do the business the right way. So everything can be clean on paper. Kind of like the money laundering thing. You got to have a front. So you get the good people as the front, and then you do all the crazy shit behind. And because not everyone who signs... Not everyone who signs those contracts to me, eats at the Cannibal Club. Like, I just feel like there are some that get through the cracks that actually show up in their daily life as good humans. Like, they're good parents. We had Lisa Silverstone was at our school. Like, that's where she put her kids, at the place I just left. And just things like that where you're like, you have the connection to them, and I'm like, yeah. Or working on set, working with them, you work with the vegans and you see their demeanor, and you see the people around them who are like, you could feel just how gnarly they were and how just they pulled at your energy. And you're like, oh shit. Like, she comes off as sugars and lollipops, but she's fucking demon. All of it is playing simultaneously. That's why it's the city of Los Angeles and the dark and the light. As far as Spielberg, I'm not going to say anything I'm not, because it's not like they're going to call me in for any reads anytime, which I'm open to it. But I just follow that little line of who is in control here, because it's usually the puppet masters that you don't see. You don't see their name on the marquee. You don't sometimes even see them in the credits. There's still players at the tippy top, even bigger than him, Spielberg. So when I hear that he's in control of disclosure, which means big box, like a big box store, it's a big box studio, which means this. It means there's a lot of nefarious people involved in there. So how much is going to be frosting and sugar coat? It's going to be like pick and choose. I think these things are disclosure. The authentic, the raw people out there who are just balls to the wall, the interviewers, this is disclosure. What we see in Hollywood is going to be a little manufactured. My daughter and I, we love Stranger Things. She knows. I told her all the things. I go, you want to talk to some of them? Because I've interviewed some of those people kind of before. And she's aware, but we're also entertained. So we got to remember we can be entertained. And then we can also know that some of the most realest shit you're never going to find on a screen. They're not going to make money off of it. So I do also know they have to show you. So sometimes the disclosure is showing you their plans and everything. But then they always throw that something so freaking stupid in there just to tweak with you, just to brainwash you a little bit, just to segue your opinion on something, because they have that power. That's why they came out in the first place. The radio shows, the TV shows. Oh, we have a way to like literally tell live vision and mind control and everything. And so you only the smartest players survive out here, I think, or, can make a living out of it. And some that sign off are insecure, or they were sold at birth. They were sold when they were young. It's sad.
And you being awake, and not just awake, but you're hyperly aware. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad, I mean, like, you're able to sense, like, you're able to see if someone has demonic attachments. You're able to sense someone's energy. Like, you're like a part of our community. So you can like kind of pick up on these things. Like, was it different being in that kind of environment and always like picking on people's or not? You know what I mean? Like you could pick up off someone's energy. You know what I mean?
That's why I feel like I was meant there to be there for a reason. Maybe that was the call, because I would balance it out. I would connect with and build friendships that I still have today, even from crew, being like, thank you for being here. It's hard to be on this job. Like, it doesn't feel good. And, or I'd navigate ones where I'd realize I was in jeopardy. So I would be quiet and put my head down and not make eye contact. Like you had to navigate things. As far as, documenting and exposing, I just tried so very hard to be a reflection. And so that's why some of the darkest of dark people would look right through me, or they would just not engage. Like some, I would tell people even had a certain stench, to me that was super demonic. Some would, just be not there. So I'm like, is that the clone version? Like, I was fascinated. And so it was a super fast class, master class of, of looking through it all. That's why I got so like, with communities when they would talk Hollywood and they've never even worked in it or been on set or got a paycheck from it. So it's like, yeah, get your likes and get your show out there. But it would be like, to share the opinion of being there, you dispel some people's myths. And so, well, I don't want to go back to that one, but so yes, being on there, navigating it, there were some tricky times. I'd worked at some instances where it would be like, because I'd have to play it right. You'd say certain things and you'd know who you were meant to talk to or not. And then you could go a little deeper or a little deeper or a little deeper. I'd even give handouts sometimes, but when it was truly a scary situation, then I would just lock it down. I'd literally say, this is an energy exchange. I get my paycheck, and then it would never even feel like a healthy paycheck. So leaving that, I felt like, okay, I'm not doing this energy exchange with the cabal anymore. There were some really great people I work with, and I would never dismiss them, but you still are taking a check from the network and the company. So after a while, it felt dirty. It was like, So I got really excited when I saw that some new studios and production houses were coming in, and they were going to be the sovereign ones, and they were going to do this. And I'm just thinking, you're going to get squashed, or there other people, or the system isn't ready yet. But hopefully they keep going for it and keep trying and keep building. I know Angel Studios is building out. I know there's, a few other places like that building out, but this is where it kind of is a callback. The power is in the people. The power is in the sovereign individual. And that's why, even to my kids, I don't poo-poo the computers and even social media now. Well, they're not on it, but because we are we're the content builders now, and there's an interest in the business world. So we are kind of screwing with the old system. We're part of the collapse of the old dirty system. So as long as we can all be really smart about it, not lead with ego and not lead with a facade, but truly be authentic and build for the right reasons, I just think it's going to be a very empowering, really beautiful thing. So it was a blessing to work on set, on the dark shit and the light shit. More light than not. I'm going to say that. And that was 17 years. I was a union crew girl on set. Like every lot I was on, in it, out at stage, on location, everything. And then like 15 years before that, it was either being the audition, the casting rooms, all that side on set as an actor handled. And then behind, nurturer. So it was a fascinating case study in humanity. That's why I think I'm a good teacher and I'm a good mom. And that's why I like talking about this stuff, and I can't get soaked into the dark ones, because I'm very well aware of who's really fucking around out there, and who's fucked up, and who's playing people, and who's using people. And it's like, I haven't signed on under these umbrellas yet. So that's telling right there.
Yeah. One of my last questions for you is,
Yeah.
now when you go back to the Midwest, will you try to continue your Steiner, Waldorf, like alternative teaching? Like, do you think that they'll be open to it there, or will you try to establish something like that there?
Yeah. So I like to hustle. So I was already perusing all those little Facebook groups, anything I could find for the homeschool groups and everything. And there's nothing like it. So I literally did this huge rant. I think you've done it before. You're just like, post, I'm going to give it up my all. I said who I am, even how I handled 2020 and my contact. Like, I put it all out there because I knew the right people would see me. And it's starting to be like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do that. So I'm getting very excited. Yes, I am planning. I'm doing my little Pinterest vision board with my sister. And I also am thinking there is a desperate need in that particular area for like middle school and up. They're all like little kids they work on, and then they just throw them in the system. And I'm like, it works really good for high schoolers too, So I'm going to be there leading that path. So yes, wow. I do plan on doing that. and making stuff. Well, I'm going to make my own little kid show too. So you heard it first, Robert.
What are you gonna do? Tell us.
Well, my kids are gonna help me. They don't know yet, but no, because when I do my classroom, it's a rhythm, and which is very Steiner. It's not just sing-songy, but it's a rhythm of the day, and it's more like the way, because I don't like the tech. We never do online school. I think it does a disservice. I'm not into that. Like, we're not going to do online schooling and stuff, but my kids I just left will connect. But I realized there's not a lot of good kid programming out there that isn't all like this kind of thing. Where's the freaking Mary Poppins chicks? Like, where's the people like, hey, I will talk to the littles, but I want to do movement. I want to do the breath work, bring in a little main lesson, do a theater game, do all that, while at the same time performing in that area. There's a lot of performers there, and that's my forte. So it can start off as like kids parties, kids events, tutoring, this, and then develop into this, just like a little podcast style. I'm not talking about pitching to networks or anything. I'm just talking about, I'm going to merge all my loves again, just like I did when Hollywood. I merged my snacks, my everything. And I'm just going to do it again in a new way. And I'm excited. So yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
This was an amazing interview. Well, was there anything else you want to cover before we finish up? And I'm trying to think if there's something we didn't get to.
No, I'd love to get super snarky, but you know what happens when you name names? You get targeted. So no,
what happened? Did you get targeted? I mean, you can tell. Did you get targeted? What happened?
Not like Matthew, not like some other peeps, but there are a couple posses of mean girls and are mean people that are just absolutely insecure and inauthentic. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then they sell themselves as, I'm going to help you find your, heal you. And they're just dropping curses. They're not who they say they are. If they were, they wouldn't treat people like they do, and that's based on experience. And it was like, it's something that ate me up for the longest time. And it was something I'm like, God, that was power. They're powerful. And then I watch how they navigate, and I'm like, they're dangerous. That's not powerful. That's dangerous. And I'm so sick of this kind of thing. So I have to constantly send peace to people who choose to follow people like this, because they have to go through their own journey and figure it out themselves. Because if I walked around and was just Queen Narc, then I would just look like the bitchy basket case. But I do think people have to truly use their discernment. And then, more so than anything, just get a little activated by people. That's what Matthew's so good at. He's empowering you yourself. He's not doing things to you. He's just teaching you, like, you got this too, and it's just beautiful, refreshing. It's like, thank you. You're right. Everybody does. So I hate the term starseed. I don't even use that anymore. I don't like this whole pigeonhole thing. We're having a human experience. I'm literally typed in. I had to use my hands. I'm not channeling something to talk. I'm just sharing who I am, and everybody can just choose to do that. And it's the clue. If you get triggered by somebody, then that's your work. doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. It just means, maybe you're just not in alignment with them. Move on. Don't trash them or spread gossip. Yeah. Untruths.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
And
Jason put up your YouTube, and this is your YouTube. It's at Heidi Popp. And is there anything else you want to promote or anything else? Just whatever.
Yeah. Find me social. I'm a chatter. You can hit me up in messages. I'm on TikTok too. That's very clean. That's very, very sweet little thing over there. The same handle. But Heidi Popp Los Angeles is pretty snarky. I have fun with that one. And I have 2 Facebook pages. I'm not a two-face. My one is OG, like from the start. I had Tom from MySpace as my picture, like we all did. Like I came from MySpace. So
it's hilarious.
That is OG, and I'm going to keep that forever. And I do, it's not taken away. And rebooted is it's what it is. It's a reboot, and it's a little more. It's more my teachy mom stuff. So I'm the same all around because I'm human. I can be a teachy sweet mom, and I can cut a bitch. So I can do all the things just like everybody else can. So there's nothing two-faced about having 2 pages. It's called navigating censorship is what it is. So yeah, feel free to reach out anytime. I do chat in Messenger, and send some good juju, please. We have no idea how we're going to make this trek, especially in winter. So, all little like, woo, have a good time and safe travels would be great.
Guys, reach out to her and support Heidi. She's an awesome part of our community. Like, it's really great. Like, I went and resubscribed to your YouTube, and
Thanks, Robert.
What happened was like 5 months ago when they took my YouTube channel down, I lost all my subscriptions I was subscribed to, so I had to
ridiculous.
YouTube,
it's a tough. That's the thing. It's hard to be so super authentic, but play the game because they'll take you down. So you still have to follow the rules, and that's why it still is an equipment. This is an instrument. You are the only unfiltered, realist thing out there. So you better be putting that out in the real world. That's my little last 2 cents too. I have a good time. I have a good time because I like my real world too. I don't escape, and this will always mask something because you're going to get censored. Something's going to happen, so you have to censor something so you don't get taken down. Whereas in the real world, getting those get-togethers and things, just be authentic. Be kind to everybody out there, and you're going to have a good time. That's what I think. And be healthy.
Thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank you, Rob.
Guys, and I'll put the links in the description, and please follow Heidi, and good luck on your move, Heidi. And thank you so much for coming on today. This was awesome.
Thank you, hon. Thank you, chat. Cheers.
Take care, guys.